The Jujutsu Kaisen chapter 238 spoilers have recently dropped, and it looks like we're about to get the final battle between Yuji and Sukuna. Probably the most build-up fight in the entire manga. The King of Curses versus the Demon God of Hands. But before we get into that, I just want to say that if you enjoy watching the videos, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe. I saw that a lot of people that watch the videos aren't actually subscribed, so yeah, it'd help a ton if you did. We start right from where we left off in last week's chapter, where Sukuna revealed his true Heian form, which he had been purposely holding back on. And let me just say this, I wasn't able to do a video on the conclusion of Gojo vs Sukuna, but damn did this video age well. Anyways, we see that through his curse technique, Kashimo basically has X-ray vision, and when he looks at Sukuna, all you can see is perfection. My man Sukuna really out here moving like perfect cell, man, you love to see it. We're getting the narrator telling us that because Sukuna has 2 extra hands and extra mouths, bro can basically use non-stop chants. He is superior to all other sorcerers. We'll get some Sukuna lore as well, which basically sums up to the fact that back in the Heian era, bro was cooking everyone. This little pre-fight talk ends with Kashimo calling Sukuna beautiful. And let me just get this straight, the amount of Sukuna glazing we've gotten lately is absolutely insane. It's as if Gege saw the community making all the fraud jokes and decided to make everyone shut up. First we get Gojo gassing Sukuna, then Kashimo, and now the literal narrator himself. Sukuna's Heian form just seems to be in a completely different level than when he was in Megumi's body, and we see this in the next couple of panels. Despite being previously stated to have surpassed human limits, Kashimo gets cooked, both in hand-to-hand and in terms of sorcery as a whole, because it's basically confirmed that Sukuna can now just casually use the space slashes he used to kill Gojo. This time, he tells Kashimo to dodge it, which Kashimo does manage to do so, and yeah, I guess that's a pretty impressive feat, but a few seconds later, Kashimo is back to getting cooked, and we see how much of a difference Sukuna's forearms makes when it comes to hand-to-hand combat. You can basically just grab Kashimo's hands, and with his extra hands start landing heavy body shots. And then in the next panel, we get a beautiful shot of Sukuna firing multiple of his slashes towards Kashimo. And all Kashimo can do is just watch, because the next thing we see is him in the afterlife. I'm not sure whether or not this is the afterlife, but it's very similar to what happened with Jogo when he died. It seems Sukuna can somehow communicate with people right when they're about to die, but it's hard to say since we didn't see it happening with Gojo. In his final moments, Kashimo talks to Sukuna about strength and the loneliness that comes with it. And here it's basically confirmed that Kashimo truly was the Gojo of his era. Him and Sukuna have a conversation about being the strongest, and it's pretty interesting to see since they're the only ones that can really understand each other. At the end of that conversation, we finally get told about Sukuna's view on solitude and strength. Unlike Kashimo and Gojo, he doesn't care about being lonely, and for that reason, it's why he's the strongest. He doesn't want to satisfy others, rather all he chooses to do is whatever benefits him. And this ties back to one of the very first descriptions we got of Sukuna. Throughout heaven and earth, he alone is the honored one. Only his pleasure and displeasure exist. And yeah, let me just say, rip my man Kashimo. I honestly thought he'd push Sukuna to the limits, kinda similar to what Gojo did, but it seems me and a lot of the community overestimated him too much. Though I will say, I still think he's done enough to be put as the 3rd strongest character in the verse, solely for surviving Sukuna's hits and being able to dodge one of his cleaves. We cut back to the real world, and the first thing we see is Hakari and Uraume coming out of the domain, and this pretty much disproves the belief that base Hakari is fodder, since in base, he lasted longer against Uraume than the entirety of the Kashimo-Sukuna fight. In my opinion, the fact that he was able to last that long just goes to show how even against special grade level sorcerers, base Hakari is strong enough to where he should be able to survive into his jackpot. Since he did hit the jackpot, we can't really tell how well he did inside the domain, but I doubt he got completely destroyed. Even though he gets healed up during jackpot, had he lost a limb or taken heavy damage, we'd be able to see in his clothes. Like for example against Kashimo, where even though his arm grew back, his actual uniform itself was ripped. As they're falling down, we get this beautiful double spread. The man himself has arrived, Yuji Itadori, and with him is higuruma. I did not expect to see this fight between Sukuna and Yuji happen this early, but here we are. If you look closely, I'm sure everyone's noticed, but Yuji looks like he has claws in his right hand. And if we go back to the beginning of the series, it's basically the same as when Sukuna first took his body. The interesting thing about this is that we've never seen Sukuna himself have these type of hands, even in his Heian form, so there's a good chance that this has something to do with Yuji himself rather than Sukuna. Also, having Higuruma there with him is going to open up a lot of possibilities. We still aren't really sure if Sukuna can use his domain currently, but if he can't, Higuruma's domain will be perfect right now. Sukuna has committed so many crimes that I can't even begin to count them. So yeah, just be prepared for a very long trial. I also wouldn't be surprised if next chapter we get to see more stuff on Yuji's ability to swap bodies. Like maybe once Sukuna's caught in Higuruma's domain, Yuji just swaps bodies and starts going hand to hand with Sukuna. Also, don't forget Hakari and Higurume are still in the battlefield, so we might get a situation opposite to the one we've just had with Kashimo, where instead of Hakari trapping Higurume in his domain while Sukuna fights in the outside, this time Sukuna is the one to get trapped in the domain, while Hakari has the entire battlefield to himself. The last thing I want to talk about is to do with Maki and Yuta. They're the last two strong fighters we have on the good side, and considering Yuta was referred to as a large part of their insurance, I'm guessing he's just waiting for the right time to strike. Or they're getting ready to fight Kenjaku in case he steps in, which is already there right now. Anyways, this chapter was an absolute banger as always. I saw a lot of people saying that everything is happening way too fast and that the story is getting rushed, but I disagree. The only thing I do wish was expanded upon a bit more was Kashimo's fight. Like, this guy's entire character was built up around fighting Sukuna just to get low diffed in less than 2 chapters. That shit was actually just embarrassing, I'm not gonna lie. But again, as a whole, the chapter was still great. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to like and subscribe. Also, next week, I'll probably be doing a video on what will happen if Gojo fought Hei and Sukuna. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. Other than that though, peace.